Wanted to interview you, for anybody that doesn't know, and if they're living under a rock or something, David Bazzel, Razorback legend.
Overexposed.
Yeah, humble. We'll give him that. So things that you've been associated, the Broyles Award, created that. Touchdown Club.
Yeah.
You are responsible for bringing in some of the greatest football minds, legends ever to Little Rock.
Yeah, it's been a blast doing that, Logan. I mean, what's a blast is that, I don't get paid to do that, but to see, we have members, especially a lot of retired seniors that get there like 2 hours before the doors open, and they will stand in line to get good seats. And then we bring in Earl Campbell or Mike Ditka or Larry Zonka or whoever it may be. And so I get a lot of thrills out of it, because here in Arkansas, people love football. Oh, yeah. And bringing in those big names and being able to go up and touch them and shake their hands and get an autograph, it's been a lot of fun. It's hard to believe. It's a lot of work. We've been doing it. I think this is year 17, but I'm really happy. And we've missed it. We've missed it with the COVID year this year. So we're looking forward to getting back after that.
And we love Debbie.
Yes.
We love.
That's right. Debbie loves you. Yeah, Debbie's great. That whole Touchdown Club is people who give her their time, and Debbie works her rear end off. And we do the Cliff Harris Award, which is the top small college defensive player of the year, and that comes through the Touchdown Club along with all the other awards we do. And Debbie's a huge part of that. Yeah,
she's phenomenal. Love her. So, wanted to hit on what characteristics. So, kind of what has made some of the people that you've been around, or even honestly yourself, what kind of things make them excel? So that's when we talk with Freddie, how many of those guys went on to do crazy things. Just what is that?
Well, I think if you even if you use Freddie as an example, and you mentioned all those guys like who played on that 64 team, like Jerry Jones or Jimmy Johnson, what was one of the main ingredients of those people? The influence of Frank Broyles. And so I think when you find successful people, you're going to see where they were all influenced by somebody or something. And I think that's the coolest thing, is when you're influenced by somebody to be better than you thought you could be and greater than you thought you could be. And that's why I hate it for kids that don't have exposure, people who never get around somebody that can motivate them and inspire them. And maybe sometimes those people can inspire you when they don't even realize, they're inspiring. So I just think that. I think having people that influence you to be better, and you realize, wow, I want to be like that person, or I see how that person works. I want to do that, and that and that's the coolest thing, is when you do that to somebody. Yeah. That's the greatest thing, is when you. I know for me, if somebody's come to me and said, I saw you do that, and it made me want to do it. I'm like, well, that's the greatest feeling in the world.
That's awesome. So their little Bible verse goes something along with that. It's iron sharpeth iron.
Yeah.
So
that's exactly right.
And that's what Fred was talking about with that. And he hit on somebody that you know pretty well too, his buddy Ken.
Oh, Ken Hatfield. Yeah, again, great coach, great human being, high standard, treats people with class, respect. And one thing about Coach Hatfield, I played for Lou Holtz and Ken Hatfield, and they were two completely different kind of people. But I don't think you can be a great football coach, a great college football coach or high school football coach, unless you have an edge. Yeah. And Ken, you think, well, he's a strong Christian, good guy, and never cusses. I think the worst cuss word ever, he said, I want you to beat the hell out of him, because that's a good thing. He didn't want hell in somebody, so beat it out of him. So, but it was, you respected him, but he could get on you. But he had principles. He was just a solid, rock solid guy, and he expected your best. I mean, we were always those teams that I played on were undersized, just like Freddie's, but Hatfield got that from Frank Broyles, and playing hard, giving 100%, doing the right thing, all those things, and you think of all the young men he's influenced in his life.
It's just really cool, and anybody that has been a Razorback fan kind of knows the lineage and how different things, and so the big transition from the Southwest Conference to the SEC and the change of philosophies. Frank Broyles was at least able to have that consistency when he transitioned over into AD. What do you remember from that time frame that was like maybe the biggest adversity?
Well, Frank was a visionary. He was the one that he came from Georgia Tech, and he saw Arkansas that had so much potential, because where he grew up, he had Georgia Tech, the next state over, Alabama, Alabama, Auburn, And he saw Arkansas really didn't have a major program. Arkansas was, was sort of the one that was sitting there with potential. And he came and he committed, and he was so inspirational and motivational. And he, I think if you look at it from this state standpoint, he's more impactful maybe than anybody we've ever had, including Clinton. When it comes to the, you talk about Walmart and all these things, but it was Frank Broyles that took that football program. We were dealing with the 57 issue at Central, had a black eye there, and it gave Arkansas something to be proud about.
Yeah.
Is that Arkansas was #1 in the nation, or at least playing for the national championships when he was there, and the poor little state of Arkansas could do that. And so I think he brought that, to this state. He wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
He wasn't perfect. He had a big, he demanded things. I remember he got uncomfortable with me a few times, and you got to stand your ground if you know you're in the right. But his vision to go to the Southeastern Conference was the right time.
Yeah.
The Southwest Conference was falling apart.
It was imploding,
all
yeah.
the schools, Logan, who I played against, when I played in the 80s, they're all getting paid.
Yeah.
Almost everybody. I was basically playing in the NFL back in the 80s against, SMU and Eric Dickerson and those guys. And so he saw what was happening. And it was very, and now, even though it's hard to win, it's the Premier League in America. So it was wise for him to do that.
He made a great decision.
Yeah, he did.
Going back to him, because what Fred was saying was in that 63 team, they were like 5-5, I
Right.
believe. All right. And so being a visionary, he saw two different things. Seniors weren't expected to take summer practice. They didn't.
right.
They went
That's
into
right.
the season. He changed that going into 64 season. He also kept bringing in the new coaches and learning.
That's right. He did.
Learning,
That's why there's a Broyles Award. That's
and
right.
why there's a Broyles
Yeah,
Award.
yeah.
So that visionary thing, that may be just something that you're a God-given ability, though, isn't it?
Well, two things on that too, Logan, is that he recruited well. I mean, Freddie Marshall and Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones and Jim Lindsey, they may not have been, NFL Hall of Famers, but they were good football players.
Yeah.
And so he recruited well and he coached well. That's why he always brought in those assistant coaches. He would keep them for a few years, and he would help them get a job somewhere, because he wasn't intimidated. He wanted the best coaches, and that's why there's a Broyles Award. Barry Switzer was under him. Johnny Majors was under him. Aiden Fry, as I mentioned, Jimmy Johnson. So again, it was in that year in '63. It was not only the coach talked about them practicing, but those players made up their mind. Jerry Jones just told that story. When they got off that plane that last game, they said, we're not going through this again. Because they were actually pretty good the year before. Had a terrible year, and they came back and said, we're going to commit ourselves, and we're going to go through spring practice, even though seniors don't have to do that. And look what it turned out to be. But that's character. I think Frank recruited that well, and he inspired well with his assistant coaches, like he said.
There's something super special all of us can learn from that time period.
Well, playing for a team, that's one of the great things about sports. It makes you understand the team concept. But, just like you have here with your business, it's a team. And your weakest link is going to be how good you are. And so it's the same principle. How much discipline do you have? How much focus? Are you paying attention to the details? Are you working the extra hours? Are you putting in the extra? All those things that I did in college, I do for the Razorbacks. I do the exact same thing for the radio show or for anything. Yeah. And so it just gave you those. And listen, some people play on bad sports teams. I've had a few of those before I got to Arkansas. And you see the ways not to do it. So I'm just very thankful that I had guys like Lou Holtz and Ken Hatfield, and I was around Frank Broyles and guys like that who you saw a standard that they had and a level of expectation, and they wanted to hold that to you. And so when I'm around somebody, if you and I are working on a project together, listen, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire. I want you to be working as hard as I do or more. You know?
Yeah, I love it. Well, David, thank you. We love your mama, by the way.
I'm a mama's boy. I'm an only child, Logan. Yes, I'm an only child, so after me, they just said, hey, we're done. Can't get any better. I'm just doing I'm just joking.
Well, we love Carolyn. So.
Yeah, she loves you. She loves this place. Yeah, you guys do great. You have a great reputation. And the biggest thing is you're a people person. You and your family and everybody here makes everybody feel comfortable. Listen, there's 10,000 of businesses like this. But there's something about you and your family and the people who work here that make it even more special. So, yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.